My name is Kevin Miller. What I'm about to tell you isn't a campfire story. This is a confession. For the last 25 years, this thing has been sitting on my chest like a slab of concrete. The shrinks call it PTSD. They say my brain misfired, created hallucinations to cope with trauma. They feed me pills, sleeping pills, sedatives. But here's the kicker. The pills knock me out, sure. But the dreams? Who stops the dreams? I'm gonna take you back to 1995, the Pacific Northwest, a tiny town in Oregon called Blackwood Creek. You know the type. 10 months out of the year, the sky looks like a bruised slate. The other 2? Fog. Thick, white soup that snakes through the pines and strangles everything. I was 21, fresh out of NYU, whole life ahead of me. I figured I'd crash at my grandpa's farmhouse for the summer, get away from the city, breathe. His place was way off the interstate, tucked right against the tree line, a massive Victorian-style house, wooden, dark. I thought I'd find peace. Peace. Right. Let me tell you about my grandpa, Arthur Miller. 70 years old, built like a tank, ex-Marine, Vietnam vet, spent his life as a lumberjack after the war. Even retired, you'd never catch him without a half-chewed cigar and an old buck knife on his hip. The guy terrified me as a kid. He didn't smile. He was carved out of granite. Even my dad walked on eggshells around him. That May, it was just the 3 of us. Me, Dad, and the old man. Now picture this house, old American farmhouse, floorboards that groan with every step, drafty fireplace, and underneath, the crawl space. The house sat on pillars. There was a gap between the floor and the dirt, dark, damp, smelling like wet earth and rot. As a kid, that crawl space was pure nightmare fuel. I always felt like something was down there, watching. It started on a Thursday night. Outside, the storm was hammering. Oregon storms are different. The rain doesn't fall, it attacks. The wind screams through the pines like something dying. Around 2 a.m., a scream ripped through the house. Not a shout, a blood-curdling, primal scream. It was Grandpa. Me and Dad jumped out of bed, grabbed flashlights, hauled ass downstairs. Grandpa was in the master bedroom on the ground floor. The door wasn't locked, but it was jammed. Dad was pounding on it. "Dad! Dad! You okay?" No answer. Just this wet, gurgling sound. Like someone drowning on dry land. Dad threw his shoulder into the door. It cracked open. Grandpa, this tough-as-nails Marine, was huddled in the corner, in his old oak armchair, curled up like a child. He had his double-barrel shotgun, but he was shaking so bad he could barely hold it. He had the barrel pointed at the bottom of his bed. He was drenched in sweat, and his eyes, Jesus, the whites were completely bloodshot, like they were gonna pop out. Dad rushed over. "Pop, what happened? Is there someone in the house?" Grandpa didn't look at him. His eyes were locked on the darkness underneath the bed. He whispered, and his voice sounded heavier than the air. Tell him to get out, David. Don't let him come out." Dad was confused. "Who, Dad? The room's empty." Grandpa jerked the shotgun toward the gap and screamed, "Liar! He's right there! Can't you smell the rot? He's under the bed. He's smiling at me. Those eyes, that rotting neck. Jesus Christ, don't let him crawl out." I hit the light switch. The room flooded with light. Grandpa's bed was high, antique. Underneath, pitch black. I swallowed hard, got down on my stomach, flashlight in hand. My heart was hammering. I shined the light under the bed. Nothing. Just dust, old work boots, and a spider web. I stood up. "Grandpa, look! Nobody's there! Just a nightmare!" But Grandpa wasn't buying it. He swore, even with the lights on, he could still see him. A man, skin peeling off his face, a chunk of his cheek missing, and around his neck, a thick purple bruise. From a rope. He said the thing was trying to crawl out from under the bed. We couldn't keep him in that room. We moved him to the living room sofa. Me and Dad pulled an all-nighter. Grandpa didn't sleep. He just kept muttering. "He's watching. He's waiting. Cyrus, go back." The next 3 days were hell. Grandpa stopped eating. Wouldn't go to the bathroom, said he could hear scratching under the bathtub. This giant of a man was wasting away. No cigar, no attitude, just raw, primal fear. He kept saying, "The curtain is moving, Kevin. They're lifting it." Sunday morning, we called the doctor. Dr. Samuel Jackson, not the actor, Blackwood Creek's only GP. 50-something, straight shooter, no nonsense. He didn't believe in ghosts. When Dr. Samuel arrived, Grandpa was in bad shape, lying on the divan. The doc put his stethoscope on Grandpa's chest. Suddenly, Grandpa's hand shot up and grabbed the doctor by the collar. Grandpa shrieked, "Can't you see him, Sam? Right there, under the couch. That man, Cyrus Vance. Tell him to leave me alone." Dr. Samuel jumped back, dropping his stethoscope. He stared at Grandpa, totally spooked. "Arthur, calm down. Cyrus Vance? Arthur, that junkie died 6 months ago." Grandpa shook his head violently. "He ain't dead. He's right here. Look at him. The rope marks. He says he ain't going alone. He's taking me with him, dragging me down into the dirt." Me and Dad pried Grandpa's hands off. The doctor stumbled back, composing himself. He motioned for Dad to step outside. I followed. Even in the chill of the Oregon morning, Dr. Samuel was wiping sweat off his forehead. He lowered his voice. "David, your dad's in a bad way. Severe hallucinations, maybe dementia, maybe repressed trauma. I'll give him a heavy sedative, but you need to get him to a psychiatric facility today." Dad nodded, defeated. The doctor started walking to his car, then stopped. He turned and looked at me. There was something in his eyes. Suspicion, maybe fear. He waved me over. "Kevin, let me ask you something. Where did your grandpa get the name Cyrus Vance?" I shrugged. "I don't know, Doc. Who is Cyrus Vance?" The doctor sighed. "Old story. Cyrus was a local drifter, junkie, lived in the trailer park. The police found his body about 6 months ago, underneath his trailer, in the crawlspace. He hung himself. When they found him, it was messy. But Arthur wasn't sick back then. The papers didn't print the details. So how did Arthur know about the rope marks?" The doctor drove off. But that question stuck in my brain like a splinter. That night, it ended. 3 a.m., dead silent. Then a loud thud from the living room. The sound of a struggle, like someone being dragged across the floorboards. Me and Dad sprinted downstairs. Grandpa had fallen off the sofa. He was clawing at the carpet, fingernails digging in, kicking his legs like something invisible was pulling him into the floor. He was screaming, "Let go! Don't touch my leg! Let go! I won't go!" Before we could reach him, Grandpa's body arced like a bow. A horrible, gurgling rattle. Then silence. His eyes were wide open, staring at the ceiling. But the terror in those eyes, even death didn't wipe that away. The death certificate said massive heart attack, but we were there. We saw it. That wasn't a heart attack. That was fear. Pure fear exploding from the inside out. We buried Grandpa. Small town, word travels fast. Everyone thought it was just his heart, but I couldn't shake it. The name, Cyrus Vance, the rope marks. So I hit the library, Blackwood Public Library, down in the basement archives with the microfiche machines. I started digging through the Blackwood Gazette from November '94. Finally, I found it. November 13th. Headline, Local Transient Found Dead in Trailer Park. I read the article and my blood turned to ice. Cyrus Vance, found under his trailer, hung himself in the crawl space. But then, the police report details. The body was partially scavenged by wild animals, mostly the face. Grandpa had said, rotting face, cheek missing, eyes popping out. The paper never mentioned the eyes. How did Grandpa know? Did he actually see it? Does death hide behind a curtain right next to us? And do some people just accidentally peek behind it? The story could have ended there, but the nightmare wasn't done. The chain hadn't been broken. About 5 days after the funeral, I went into town for groceries. Driving back down one of those lonely forest roads, I saw Dr. Samuel's truck on the shoulder, hood up, steam pouring out. I pulled over. "Hey, Doc, need a hand?" Dr. Samuel was sitting in the driver's seat, head on the steering wheel. When I spoke, he jumped. I recoiled. It had only been 5 days, but the man looked like he'd aged 10 years. Dark circles, hollow cheeks. He usually kept a clean shave, now patchy stubble. No lab coat, just a dirty, stained jacket. He looked at me, but it was like he was looking through me, at something behind my head. "Kevin, it's you. Truck won't start, or maybe I just can't make it start." His words were slurring, like he was drunk. I said, "Doc, are you okay? You look sick." He let out this laugh, dry, crackling, insane. Then he beckoned me closer. "Come here, Kevin. Can I tell you something? You won't tell anyone, right? They'll think I've lost my mind. They'll lock me up." I stepped closer, feeling a knot in my stomach. "What's going on?" He whispered, "Your grandpa, Arthur. 2 days before he died, a patient came to see me. Jennifer, 16 years old, trailer park, drug overdose. I tried to save her, but she grabbed my hand right before she flatlined." I stood there. The wind was howling through the trees. The sun was going down. The doc continued. "You know what Jenny said before she died? She said there was an old man under her bed, huge guy, red and black checkered shirt, crawling out on his elbows. She said he was holding an axe, coughing, and the room smelled like cigar smoke." My heart stopped. Red and black flannel, axe, cigar smoke. That was Grandpa, Arthur Miller. But Grandpa was alive when Jenny died. I stammered, "Doc, are you sure?" Dr. Samuel grabbed my wrist. His hand was freezing, clammy. "I didn't believe it then, Kevin. I thought it was the drugs. But then your grandpa died, and he was saying the same things, just a different character. Arthur saw Cyrus. Jenny saw Arthur." I was confused. "So what does that mean?" Suddenly, the doc screamed, "Don't you get it? It's a chain! One dies and climbs onto the next one's back. And now I can see it, Kevin." "See what? What are you seeing?" He shrank back into his seat, pointing a shaking finger at the floorboard of the truck, right where the pedals were. "Jenny. For the last 3 days, every time I try to sleep, under my bed, it's Jenny. Her face is blue, foam coming out of her mouth, and she's whispering, 'Doc, why didn't you save me? Come down here. It's nice and cold.'" He started sobbing, uncontrollable. "I can't take it anymore. She won't leave me alone. Under the car seat, under the dining table, everywhere. She wants to crawl out." He suddenly shoved me away, cranked the ignition. The truck sputtered to life, and he peeled out, kicking up gravel. I stood alone on the road. I realized then, the fog in Blackwood Creek isn't just weather. It's a curse, a chain. One person dies, haunts the next, drags them down too. Went home that night and didn't say a word to my dad. He wouldn't believe me anyway. But I was terrified. Was there something under my bed? That night, I dragged my mattress onto the floor. No gaps, no space underneath. I slept with the lights on. 2 days later, news hit the town. Dr. Samuel was missing. His clinic was closed. No one was answering at his house. I knew exactly where he was. I didn't tell Dad. I grabbed the car keys and drove to the doc's house. It was on the edge of town, an old cedar bungalow surrounded by massive oaks. The front door was wide open. Inside, pitch black, no electricity. The sky outside was gray, making the house look like a tomb. "Doc! Hey, Doc!" I shouted. No answer. The smell hit me first. Thick, musty, rotting food, dead rats. I clicked on my flashlight. The living room was trashed, furniture overturned, cushions ripped apart, like a wild animal had been trapped inside. I walked toward the bedroom. Shined the light through the doorway. Dr. Samuel wasn't on the bed. He wasn't under it. He was in the corner of the room, squeezed underneath a heavy wooden desk. Jammed himself into the tightest ball possible. In his hand, a surgical scalpel. His clothes were torn, hair wild. I yelled, "Doc, come out! It's me, Kevin!" He turned his head. His eyes, oh God, I will never forget those eyes. They had rolled back completely, all white. He wasn't looking at me. He was staring at the carpet, like he could see through the floorboards, deep into the earth. He mumbled, "They're here, Kevin. All of them. Cyrus, Arthur, Jenny. They want to lift the curtain. They want to tear it down." I stepped closer. "What curtain, Doc? Come on, get up." He shook his head frantically. He raised the scalpel to his own throat. There was this weird, calm look on his face. I screamed, "No, Doc, don't!" I lunged forward, trying to grab him, trying to pull him out. But before I could touch him, he didn't cut his throat. Instead, his body went rigid. A massive seizure. Foam bubbled at his mouth. He collapsed right into my arms. As the life faded, he pulled me close. His cold breath hit my ear. He whispered his final words. "Don't look under the bed, Kevin. Don't look." Dr. Samuel died right there. The police ruled it cardiac arrest brought on by stress and suicidal tendencies. Case closed. Nobody knew about the chain. Nobody knew about the haunting. I didn't stay in Blackwood Creek another second. I packed my bags, dragged my dad back to New York. Dad eventually sold the farmhouse. Some other poor soul owns it now. It's been 25 years. I live in LA now. I'm married, 2 kids, nice house in the suburbs. Life is normal. But even today, whenever I check into a hotel or walk into my own bedroom, the first thing I do, I get down on my knees and I check under the bed. My wife laughs at me. She says I have OCD. She says I'm paranoid. She doesn't know. She doesn't know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for Dr. Samuel. because the chain didn't break, did it? Jenny saw Arthur, Arthur saw Cyrus, and the doc, he died looking right at me. That means, am I next? Sometimes, late at night, I feel like the veil is thin. I imagine I can hear a stethoscope scratching against the floorboards. I imagine a voice drifting up from the dust bunnies. Come here, Kevin. It's nice and cold. But here's the thing. I've never looked. Not once. Not in 25 years. I check. I shine lights. I use mirrors. But I never put my face down there. I never stare into the dark. Maybe that's why I'm still here. Maybe the chain only works if you look. Or maybe it's just waiting. If you're listening to this, I hope you understand. I hope you're careful. Because once you see it, once you really see it, it sees you too.
Well, that was something. I mean, it's really well written, genuinely. This could get published in some horror anthology. Nice try, Kevin Miller.
My name is Sarah Chen. I'm a third-year graduate student at Portland State University. My focus is folklore and anthropology, specifically how urban legends function as cultural trauma responses in isolated communities. I found this journal 3 weeks ago in the university library basement, misfiled. Water-damaged box labeled Local Documents MISC 1995 to 2000, sitting between tax records and moldy yearbooks like it was waiting for me. The first page just said, Kevin Miller, May 1995, Blackwood Creek. Look, I've read hundreds of these. Cursed videotapes, haunted diaries, creepypasta printed out and planted in archives by creative writing students hoping to start an ARG. This one was good. Really good. Specific details, authentic voice, the kind of thing that makes you wonder. But wondering isn't the same as believing. I'm a scientist. I deal in evidence, patterns, data. So I did what any researcher would do. I verified. Arthur Miller. Real. Died May 14th, 1995. Heart attack. Dr. Samuel Jackson. Real. Died May 21st, 1995. Heart attack. 1 week apart in a town of 800 people. The Blackwood Creek Gazette wasn't digitized. Physical archives were destroyed in a library fire in 2003. Convenient, right? But I found microfilm at the county clerk's office. Took me 6 hours and 3 trips, but I found the articles. Jennifer Marie Cole, 16, died May 10th, 1995. Accidental overdose. Cyrus Vance, drifter, found dead November 12th, 1994. The article just said, found deceased at local trailer park. No details. So I called the sheriff's department. They transferred me 4 times before I reached a retired deputy named Frank Hollis. He's 73 now, worked the Vance case. He remembered it. He said Cyrus had hanged himself in the crawl space under his trailer. Said the body had been there for weeks before anyone noticed the smell. Animals had gotten to it. The face was barely recognizable, one cheek completely gone. The rope had cut so deep it nearly decapitated him. Deputy Hollis said it was the worst scene he'd worked in 30 years. So, either Kevin knew someone in law enforcement or... I brought the journal home, told myself it was research. I live in a small studio in northwest Portland. Minimalist setup. Platform bed, about 4 inches of clearance from the floor, desk, bookshelf. That's it. Last Tuesday night, I read through the entire journal again, took notes. Rain was coming down hard, typical Oregon weather. I made chamomile tea, sat cross-legged on my bed with the journal in my lap. Kevin's handwriting deteriorates toward the end, gets shaky, frantic. The last 10 pages are just the same phrase, over and over. Never look, never look, never look. A little dramatic, don't you think? I put the journal on my nightstand, turned off the lights, closed my eyes. And then I couldn't stop thinking about it. I've lived here 2 years. The bed frame is 4 inches off the ground. You couldn't fit a cat under there, let alone a person. There's nothing to check. But the thought was there, planted, like a seed. Around 2 a.m., I gave in. I sat up, grabbed my phone, turned on the flashlight. I felt ridiculous, like a child checking for monsters. I leaned over the edge of the mattress, aimed the light into the gap. Relief. 4 inches of dusty hardwood, a lost sock, a paperback I'd been looking for. Nothing. I laid back down, pulled the blanket up, closed my eyes. That should have been the end of it. Beat. The rain sounds different now, heavier, more oppressive. Over the next 3 days, I started noticing things. But that's what good horror does, right? It finds the logical gaps and makes you fill them in. Couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Kevin, the last person in the chain. Dr. Samuel died looking at him. So where's Kevin? I searched again, more thoroughly this time. 3 Kevin Millers in Los Angeles County. A dentist, too young. A contractor, wrong person. The third address led to an apartment building in Koreatown. The building manager was an older Korean woman. I showed her a photo I'd found online, driver's license records, 1997. She stared at it for a long time. Then she said, "Oh, the quiet man, 4B. Yes, I remember." I asked when he'd moved out. She said, 2009, March. Very strange. He paid rent 6 months ahead, then one day just gone. Left everything. Furniture, clothes, books. We had to clear it out. I asked if he left a forwarding address. She shook her head. Then she leaned in close and whispered, "Don't go in the bedroom." The building manager said they found his bed pushed against the wall, mattress on the floor, no frame, and underneath where the bed had been, the hardwood was scratched, deep gouges, like something with nails had been trying to claw its way up from underneath. I shouldn't have gone back to Portland. But I did. I drove home, I walked into my apartment, I put the journal on my kitchen counter, and I tried to sleep. I couldn't. Around 1 a.m., I heard it. Not loud, not obvious, just a soft, scraping sound, like something being dragged across wood. Coming from underneath my bed. Turned on every light. Checked the windows, locked. Checked the door, locked. Checked the heating vents, the plumbing, anything that could explain the sound. It stopped. Now my forehead is tingling with fear. It's like something is standing just behind me, touching me without touching me. This morning I woke up on the couch. I don't remember going to the couch. The last thing I remember is sitting on my bed, fully clothed, lights on, staring at the wall. The journal was open on the floor. I didn't open it. It was open to a page I hadn't seen before, the very last page, after Kevin's final entry, different handwriting, messy, frantic, written in red ink.
If you're reading this, I'm sorry. I thought I could contain it. I thought if I disappeared, if I stopped existing in any official capacity, the chain would break. It didn't. It just waited. Don't make my mistake. Don't try to understand it. Don't look for patterns. And for God's sake, don't look under your bed. Not even once. Because once you look, you give it permission. You acknowledge it. And then it's real. Burn this journal. Burn it now. I'm sorry I couldn't. Kevin Miller, March 3rd, 2009. That was 14 years after the original entries. Kevin was still alive in 2009, still running, still haunted. I tried to burn it. I swear I tried. I took it to the kitchen sink, turned on the gas stove, held the journal over the flame. My hand wouldn't move, like my muscles had locked. I stood there for 5 minutes, arms shaking, and I couldn't do it. The scraping started again last night, 2 a.m. exactly. Louder this time, and I started smelling something. That smell Kevin described. Wet earth and decay and something else. Something that doesn't belong in the world of the living. I didn't sleep. I sat on my couch with every light on, facing the bedroom door. I watched the gap under my bed. 4 inches of darkness. And I swear I saw something move. This morning, I couldn't take it anymore. I had to know. I got down on my hands and knees. My phone was shaking in my hand. I aimed the flashlight under the bed. There was a hand. Pale, thin, fingers stretched toward me. And behind it, a face. Blue lips, foam at the corners of the mouth, eyes rolled back, just the whites showing. Jennifer. She was smiling. Not a normal smile, too wide, like her jaw was dislocated. And then she started crawling out. No! No! Get back! Your turn.
This is Detective Mark Holloway, Portland Police Bureau, Cold Case Division. Date, January 29th, 2025. Case number 25-0041. Missing person, Sarah Chen. This log is being recorded as an official addendum to the case file. It will be sealed under Oregon Revised Statute 192.502, subsection C, Mental Health Exemption. What that means is this recording isn't for public consumption. If you're hearing this, you've either accessed restricted files without authorization or something has gone very, very wrong with our containment protocols. Let me start with the facts. Sarah Chen, age 27, graduate student at Portland State, reported missing by her thesis advisor on January 7, 2025, after she failed to attend 3 consecutive meetings. Responding officer was Luis Ramirez, 7 years on the force. Good cop, solid record. Officer Ramirez is currently on administrative leave. Psychological evaluation pending. I'll come back to that. Ramirez conducted a welfare check at Chen's apartment on January 8th, 0900 hours. Building manager provided access. No signs of forced entry. Apartment appeared undisturbed. Chen's laptop was on the kitchen counter, still open, still powered on. Her phone was on the bedroom floor, still recording. The recording was 11 hours and 43 minutes long. You just heard the last 22 minutes of it. I need to tell you what Officer Ramirez saw, because his testimony is the foundation of everything that came after, and because Luis Ramirez was one of the most level-headed cops I've ever worked with. Here's his statement, recorded 3 hours after the incident. I'm reading directly from the transcript. I entered the apartment at approximately 09:04 hours. Called out for Miss Chen. No response. Living room was clear. Kitchen was clear. Bedroom door was open. I entered the bedroom. Bed was made. No visible signs of struggle. But there was a smell. Cold, like wet concrete and rotting leaves. I don't know why I looked under the bed. I just had this feeling, like someone was telling me to look. I got down on my knees, used my mag light. The bed frame was low, maybe 4 inches of clearance. I shined the light underneath. I saw dust, hardwood, a paperback book. And then I saw the dust move. Not like wind, not like vibration. It moved in a pattern, like something invisible was dragging itself through it, toward me. And then I saw it. Not a person, not an animal. A shape, human-sized, flat against the floor like a shadow, but 3-dimensional. It had depth. It had mass. It was smiling. I don't know how I knew it was smiling. It didn't have a face, but I felt it. The way you feel someone staring at you in a dark room. It started crawling out. I ran. We sent a second team, crime scene unit, 4 officers, full sweep. They found nothing unusual, but reluctant, CSU tech Amanda Martinez refused to process the bedroom. She's been with the Bureau for 15 years, processed murder scenes, suicides, decomps. She's seen everything. She took one look under that bed and walked out. I asked her why. She said, the dust. It was disturbed, recently, like something had been dragged through it, but there were no drag marks leading out, no footprints, no DNA. Just a trail that ended in the middle of the floor. Here's where it gets complicated. Over the last 3 weeks, we've received reports, 17 in total, from different states: California, Nevada, Washington, Idaho, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas. 2 from Canada. All of them claim to have listened to this audio file. And all of them report the same thing: scraping sounds, under their beds, around 2 a.m. We're treating it as mass hysteria, psychological contagion, the power of suggestion combined with viral media. It's happened before: Slender Man, Momo, the Blue Whale Challenge. But 6 of those individuals are now missing. 3 in California, 2 in Washington, 1 in Nevada. All of them lived alone. All of them had beds with clearance underneath. And in each case, responding officers reported the same thing Luis did: the smell, the disturbed dust, the feeling of being watched. Our consulting psychologist from OHSU, Dr. Evelyn Park, she used a term I'd never heard before: cognitohazard. It means information that's dangerous simply by being known, by being observed. She believes that by engaging with this narrative, by learning the names, visualizing the events, following the pattern, you create what she calls a perceptual anchor. Your brain starts looking for the pattern,
And once it starts looking, it finds it. Whether it's real or not becomes irrelevant, because your fear makes it real. The Bureau's official position is that this is a missing person case, complicated by a viral audio file that has caused psychological distress in vulnerable listeners. We do not believe in curses. We do not believe in supernatural phenomena. But I've been a cop for 19 years. I've learned to trust my gut. And my gut says there's something wrong with this case. Something we don't have the language to explain. I took the evidence home. Standard procedure for cold case review. The journal, the recordings, the photos. I have a daughter, Emma. She's 7. Last night, she came into my room, around midnight. She said she couldn't sleep, said there was a man under her bed. I checked. Of course I checked. Nothing there. But she described him.
Old man. Big. Red and black shirt. He's coughing, and it smells like smoke. Arthur Miller was a lumberjack. He wore red and black flannel. He smoked cigars. Arthur died in 1995. My daughter wasn't born until 2018. There's no way she could know that. This morning, I moved my daughter to my sister's house. Told my wife I'm working a case that requires late nights. I didn't tell her the truth, because the truth is, I don't have a daughter named Emma. I don't have any children. But I remember her. I remember her first word, her first day of school, the birthmark on her left shoulder. I remember 7 years of her life, and no one else does. I called my wife this morning, asked about Emma. She said, "Who's Emma?" Dr. Park said the chain doesn't just take, it rewrites. It inserts itself into your life retroactively, creates memories that never happened, people who never existed, and then it takes them away. She said the only way to break the chain is to never acknowledge it, never look, never verify, never give it form. But I already looked. I'm leaving this recording in the case file, along with my service weapon, because I won't need it anymore. If you're listening to this, if you've made it this far, I need you to understand something. This isn't a story. This isn't fiction. This is documentation. The chain is real, and it's patient. You might not hear the scraping tonight or tomorrow night, but eventually, maybe weeks, maybe months from now, you'll be alone in a quiet room, and you'll feel it. That certainty, that absolute knowing that something is beneath you, waiting. And you'll want to look. You'll tell yourself it's just to prove it's not real, just to confirm there's nothing there. Don't. Because once you look, you give it permission. Oh God.
Case file number 250041. Sealed. Status: unsolved. Evidence classified under ORS 192.502C. Do not distribute. Do not listen after dark. Do not sleep in a bed with space underneath. If you are experiencing psychological distress after engaging with this material, please contact National Mental Health Crisis Line 988, Portland Police Non-Emergency 503-823-3333. Final note, typed, attached to case file. Detective Holloway was found in his office on January 30th, 2025. Cause of death, cardiac arrest. No signs of trauma. No signs of struggle. His daughter, Emma, does not appear in any official records. The audio recording device was still running when we found him. Battery life, 3%. We let it die. Captain Jennifer Morrison, PPB Cold Case Division.